Hello, I'm PhocusWire Editor-in-Chief Mitra Sorrells, and I am joined today by DataArt Senior Vice President Greg Abbott. He leads the company's travel, transportation, and hospitality practice. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you. Good morning, Mitra. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you.
Likewise. It's been a year.
It has.
It
Time
went quick,
flies.
didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I know DataArt has been around more than 25 years. I'm sure many of our viewers are very familiar with your company and what you do, but why don't you just give us a quick overview for those that may not be?
Sure. In short, we're a global engineering services firm. We're a trusted partner, as you said, to many travel brands on their journey for digital dynamic transformation. And in a nutshell, that means that we help our clients imagine, design, build, and optimize cloud native, data driven solutions for their organizations. Maybe
Okay,
that
so
wasn't a nutshell.
yeah, that was great. So, considering that your work involves building these future-proof digital solutions for your clients, I know you're always trying to stay one step ahead on technology trends. Can you give us your take on the current state of innovation across travel, transportation, and hospitality?
Sure. I'll start with the general state and technology. I mean, it's exciting right now. It's fast, it's challenging, it's scary, and frankly, it can be daunting for tech leaders all simultaneously. So,
Yeah.
that said, there's a clear recognition, nearly ubiquitous among our clients and client leadership, that technology is the key to providing their organizations resilience as they seek to become more dynamic in a fast-moving future, right? So I think it's a good time to be in technology and to have technology as a focus. I think the one thing I will say about travel is, and again, we have the benefit at DataArt to be among different verticals. So we see financial services and healthcare and life science, and we're adjacent to retail. Really, a lot of travel is very close to retail. And I watch the retail practice, and comparatively, we see the travel companies are weighed by a need to overhaul a lot of outdated technology systems and processes. When I'm trying to explain that to people, why I believe that, I use an analogy. And travel companies that are not born, Mitra, in the last 10 or 15 years, those are much more progressive or cloud native. But the older ones can resemble the attempt to build a new house when you're reliant on your neighbor's plumbing and electricity, and their house was built in the 60s. And you're trying to have all the modern appurtenances, and yet you're trying to pipe in copper piping and use that. So it's a little bit akin to that, and I think that puts a drag on how easy it is to innovate. And we believe firmly, and of course that's why we're here, that travel technology companies need partners that are going to help them navigate some of those complexities.
Yeah, that's a really great description of the comparison there. Certainly anybody that's dealt with an old house, that resonates,
You know,
and that kind of makes it very obvious. Yeah. So, and actually, as we start to think ahead, then what advice would you have for travel companies as they are thinking about their strategies for 24? Maybe they're hearing what you're saying and it rings true to them, and they want to try to be a little more forward thinking. So in terms of strategies and technologies that they should be prioritizing.
yeah. Data analytics is really, I think there's this need for organizations to become data driven, right? And I know we've been saying that for a long time, but it's becoming more and more critical that you're able to break silos and to bring integration and interoperability between data silos. There's a lot of silos in travel. And then the cloud journey, again, something that's been on everybody's front of mind for a while now, but you can't get to the latest and greatest tools without being further along on the cloud journey than many are in travel. And then your favorite buzzword, and gosh, are you tired of talking about Gen AI yet? So,
You know, just when I think I am, then something new bubbles up about it. It's moving so
okay.
fast. So
Okay. All right. Yeah, so every single place I go where I sit and talk to people, it's just front of mind, and people are talking about it all over the place. And there's a lot of good case studies, and we can dive into those a little bit more. But I guess I would finish up with also maybe those are sort of tech trends that touch many different companies and in different industries. For us too, we see there's a lot of travel specific areas of need of focus, particularly in the travel industry supply chain. So
Yeah.
wherever you're at in the supply chain, post-COVID era, agency operations seems to be largely in focus, and that means content. Obviously, people are looking always to improve content and to be able to link that to end customer solutions and all the channels and all the different channels, and that touches NDC, which is something that I know has been around for a long time. But we believe that we're kind of at a watershed moment where things are starting to get momentum and change. So display and point of sale, and then of course servicing, mid and back office areas and settlement, and then user data and access, general access across the board. So those are areas where we've focused on maybe not so cleverly named service called agency ops, where we have a bunch of seasoned professionals with deep domain expertise to really come in and help our clients focus on eliminating some of the obstacles around those legacy systems.
Yeah, I would say certainly next to generative AI, NDC is probably that buzzword, that term that is just continually bubbling up in what we've been tracking. So,
I'm sure.
Let's talk a bit more about some of these. And again, as we think about kind of strategies that you would advise, is this sort of a, jumping in? I mean, there's a lot there. How do you prioritize?
It's a great question.
Yeah,
it's a great question. It's a question we get time and time again. So, look, I think it's too early to come out. Many companies to jump in and just have a strategy around Gen AI and how it relates back to this. Remember, Gen AI is a tool, right? So business strategies up here, and how Gen AI as a tool can help change or evolve your strategy or open up new revenue channels. There's a lot of ideas, and that's great. We want lots of ideas, but I'll say this. And I like the hype curve that Gartner produces. I know that's not a PhocusWire thing, but I enjoy seeing it.
Like
okay. So it was in August. I think they came out and they said that Gen AI and cloud native are at the peak of inflated expectations on the emerging tech curve. So they're teetering, right? But there's the trough, right? But more importantly, it's like 2 to 5 years, it's going to be mainstream. Right, meaning the majority of people are going to be using this in a very meaningful way to their business. So, I think for us, we see that organizations where they're at is they're trying to get the time to sort of figure this out and think about how AI can really how they can make calculated bets on AI within the organization. Without sacrificing the 10,000 other things that they've got to do. And so we've kind of come up with an offering called AI Ready, right? A program where we've got a team of 200 engineers and it's in our DataArt Labs facility that helps companies, say, okay, you can step back and think about your strategy. And what we'll do is we'll start helping you within your organization take small bets on how to show results and use AI. And it gives us a little bit of breathing room because in 2 to 5 years, going to come up really quick. And your strategy is really important. And I think we can at least show and talk about some of the other use cases that, my gosh, the use cases are so many. And we can share those use cases, and it can really help you think about how your business can use AI to its benefit.
Yeah, and when you're mentioning use cases there, I assume that ties back to the point you made about all the other verticals that DataArt works with, because you're probably seeing some interesting examples. I know there's some sectors that are really moving fast.
Absolutely. I mean, it's, customer support, personalized offerings. And I know we've been talking about personalization forever, but I mean, we truly see personalized offerings in retail, operational efficiencies, reputation management, which I know squarely touches travel, but it also touches banks.
Right.
And empowering developers to boosting their productivity. Predictive maintenance, pricing, scheduling, you name it. It's across the board.
So as we prepare to wrap up our chat here, I'm curious, how is DataArt using generative AI or thinking about using generative AI?
Yeah, it's a good question. We're also figuring out our strategy for Gen AI throughout the organization. Really, there's a focus right now for us is the lab, right, which allows us to just test and prototype real time. We've got our partnerships, right, which these are the cloud technology providers, GCP, AWS, and Azure, that have a way for us to help unlock revenue for our clients and put money to apply to a problem so that people can manage their budgets well. And then for us, we're kind of our engineering, we're leveling up. We believe that sort of the lower level tasks are going to start to be replaced by machine. And so there's a term called prompt engineering, which is how to get the right answers for the right use cases out of AI. And so our engineers are really focused on how we can use that productivity. I have a great use case. I was with a client yesterday, and they have all of this, legacy Oracle database, and they're trying to get to cloud. And we were able to help tune AI to take these old queries and turn them into the test cases that an engineer would write to be able to modernize that particular application. It brought like 30% more efficiency and speed to the modernization project. And I was like, of course, I knew we were speaking today, so I was like really excited to have like a tangible example. But so for us, I think it's changing us in stride. And we're focused on our 6,000 engineers and how to help enable them with the skills that we think can apply to the situations I was describing to you earlier. Geez, I feel like I'm talking your ear off this morning.
No. I mean, it's fascinating, and there's a lot to say. And I think it's really helpful to hear an example like that. And as you're saying that, it's occurring to me, it is kind of amazing when you watch it in action and like watch a real solution like that. Like it's
fantastic. And they did it. That's what they did, a demo for the board, and all the board was like, how much is this saving us? It was really fun to be a part of. Like I said, I think it's an exciting time, but really there's a lot of challenges, and what a fun time to be a servicing company that can help businesses really be successful through this time. So I'm excited to see you in a few weeks now at PhocusWire or Focusrite. Sorry,
Focusrite. Yes, always a great event, and we always look forward to seeing you and your colleagues from DataArt. So Greg Abbott from DataArt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mitra. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.